All right, to start to replace the clutch, we are first going to take off this mid side fairing. We already have the lower part off. All right, the next thing you're going to want to do to get this clutch cable out, there's like a little metal bracket on the back. It's kind of hard to see, but you have to bend that down, and then you could adjust this to get as much slack as possible. Make sure you go up to the handlebar and turn this in all the way so you get as much slack as you could. And then you're going to have to slip this out of here. Right, there it is. All right, so now you can start taking out your bolts. Bolts here, 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 and here. Just so you guys know, these bottom 3 bolts, they are longer than the other ones. So all the short ones will go basically, you know, halfway and up, and the bottom 3 right next to there, there, and there, those are the longer bolts. All right, to get this cover off, you have this little actuator arm. You're going to kind of, you know, pull it towards you so that it ungrips the little prong in the middle, and you'll see after I take that cover off. But when you do this, it will actually I'm going to take this off first so I can get some more grip on here. All right, that's off. Like I said, I turn this to the left, and it just kind of slides out pretty easily. Now the actuator arm was attached to this centerpiece right here, and you always want to make sure that when you're reinstalling this, that the part with the notches in it is facing towards the back of the bike. So I just wanted to show you this piece again so you could get a better view, and there's those notches in there. Like I said, there's the cover. You can see it has that long part, and there's like almost like little gears in there, and that connects right to there. So that's why you pulled it off that way, and then when you pulled it back in, it connects to this. This is 10mm bolts, and we'll do it in a star pattern and take them out. I'm actually going to hold on to this little plate. All right, so 6 bolts are out. This just comes out just like so. Put that down here for now. Now this diaphragm spring just pulls straight out. And there's 2 separate ways. You can see where it kind of pushes out. That goes towards the outside of the bike. So basically it's going to be, you can see it's pushing out that way. We're going to take our pressure plate off. This just pulls out, and this thing is going to come along with it. So just hold this and slowly pull it out. And I got a fiber on there, but it's okay. So it's going to be fiber, and then it'll be a steel plate, fiber, steel, and you're going to keep continuing the process. Supposed to be a wire retainer in here. Get a flathead screwdriver and push up on the metal wire that the red arrow is pointing to release the metal ring, and then you will get rid of your last steel plate right after that. There is a metal ring. All right, we have our fibers and oil. They soaked overnight, so those should be all set. Also, we soaked the steel plates as well. This is a new clutch, by the way. The first one you put in that's flat, that's the damper seat. So that will just go right into there. And you'll push it till it bottoms out. Then next you'll put the other one in. Now if you look on this thing, there's lettering right on the bottom there that says outside. That has to face you as it's going into the clutch. And it goes straight in. All right, the next thing you'll get is the fiber that has a bigger diameter opening. The part number starts with the 4XV. It's different from the other friction plate. Like I said, these have been soaking overnight. It's gonna go all the way in. And it actually fits around that diaphragm spring and seat. Fits right over it. Then next you'll get one of your steel plates. Get your steel, line them up with the grooves. And it goes right in there. Push it against it till it bottoms out. Next step that you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to get the metal wire. It clips into, let's see, there's a hole that you can see that it clips into. And now if you look closely at this, there is a hole right in the center, right over there. First put the fitting into it, and you wanna snap it, you wanna push it down until it snaps in there. So you have a little metal wire, which is hard to see. See, it has a little shape to it. You gotta push it through the hole and push it down until it kind of compresses into that hole. Now you take your one end, you find that hole. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm first going to press against the disc so I can get this thing in the hole. And so it's started to go in, and then you'll hear it basically click when it's in there. Now you're gonna have to take this wire, route it around the whole thing. You probably have to use a needle nose pliers because where you put it in, there's the other end that has that same part, and you have to put it right into there. Just want to wrap it around as best as you can. It's going to be a tight fit for sure. There is a groove inside there. All right, guys, so it's hard to see, but actually you could see it right in the middle. I got the second one down. So what I did was I used the needle nose pliers to pull it as far as I could over to where the original hole was right there. So there is little indentations in here, and you can kind of see the wire now. It goes around the whole thing. So you're gonna get it up to here as close as you can, and then you gotta kind of push it in by hand to start to get the little end part in there and press it down with a small screwdriver. Now, once you get it into that little slot, if you could focus here, that'd be great. So once you start to get into that little slot, you'll just see a little bit of it, and then you'll take a very, very skinny screwdriver, like a glasses one or a little, you know, something very similar to this. Then you'll, you know, grab it and then pull it down to make sure it's fully seated. This is probably the hardest part of the clutch, is getting that in. But now that I think about it, it wasn't really hard once I figured it out. Also, another thing I did was I noticed on the top part, I saw a little bit sticking out. So like I said, just get a screwdriver and then put it in there and grab it, and then, you know, press it against the basket kind of like this to pull it down to make sure that there's nothing sticking up in that area. All right, so now that you verified that it's all the way down, and when you look at it over here, you're seeing that you don't have that little piece sticking up, you're good to go. Now you're just gonna get your next fiber. And now you put your fiber in. Push it till it bottoms out. Get your steel plate, line it up with the grooves, and then push it till it bottoms out. Then we're just gonna repeat the process. So you got fiber, steel, fiber, steel, fiber, steel, fiber, steel, and then you'll end up with the fiber on your last one. All right, next we're putting on the pressure plate. Just insert the holes over these little posts. Now you want this little piece that's sticking out with the ridges facing towards the rear of the bike. Make sure that the pressure plate is locked into here. So you take your diaphragm seat and your diaphragm spring, push it together like that. That will go on there. You're going to take your little plate, line that up there, and then you'll lightly put the bolts into each hole snug. Don't go all the way in and tighten them. You want to just leave them snug, because what you're going to end up doing is you'll end up going in a star pattern little by little, so that it gets equal pressure. So it's not like tilted this way and that way. You want it to go in basically at the same time, but you know, when you do that star pattern a little bit here and there. So now this just sits right into here. And it's gonna go over each of the fingers. Take your bolts, just lightly start them by hand. Go on the other side now. All right, so these bolts are 10 millimeter. We have our torque wrench, and we are going to torque these to 8 Newton meters. It will be going in a crisscross pattern. I'm going to do 4 first, go all the way around, and then I'll do 8 to make sure that it's nice and even. All right, so we tightened all these bolts to 8 Newton meters. And it's funny, actually it has a little 8 on there, which is the required torque spec. I don't know if that's just coincidental or whatever, but so like I was trying to say, this centerpiece right here, if you pull it out, it's in the center over here, you want the little grooves facing towards the back of the bike, because that's gonna be needed when you put the cover on. So just try to get it facing back like that. So I put a little bit of oil around the gasket, so this way, if I don't get it on, it won't end up getting stuck, or if you need to take it off in the future, you could do that. There is 2 dowels, one right here and one right there. This is the bottom of the cover, this is the top of the cover, so just so you can kind of see where the dowels go. I mean, there's not really any other spot to do it, but it holds the gasket in place. And now we'll install it on the bike. All right, so we're taking our cover and we're gonna have to mock it up into there. Now, the clutch actuator arm, when you're pushing this flush against it, turn it left almost towards you, because you'll need to, there's little grooves inside here that connect to that. And if it isn't going in, you have to move that arm a little bit to make it go in. Now you want to take your time and make sure that it's fully flush. Also, when you push this lever in, it should start to grab. All right, there, I think we got it, because now when I push this lever in, it starts to catch that actuator right about there. So that should be good. Now we're gonna get our bolts, snug it up in there. The shorter ones go on the top and the 3 longer ones go on the bottom. The bottom 3 holes here, here, and here. So we're gonna just start with this one to try to get it into place. All right, so we snugged up all the clutch cover bolts just by hand, just making it semi-tight. Now we're going to go in a crisscross pattern and tighten them to 12 Newton meters. So like I said, we're going to do the start pattern. We're at 12 Newton meters, so we're good there. That one's good. All right, so all the bolts are tightened to 12 Newton meters. If you want, you could just go around this way now and just check each one to make sure. Now before you torque these down, like I said, make sure that this actuator arm, when you push it forward, it should grab right about there. And like I said, you should have that dot lined up right here with the arrow. And that's when you know it's in the perfect spot. All right, so now you're gonna get your cable. Get your cable. And the end of that will go into this part right there. You can see where the notch is. And I wouldn't press that little bracket back in until after it's assembled and you pull in the clutch to make sure that it, it feels correct. All right, so let's hook this in here. This goes like that. To basically push it towards the back of it, and then you pull it in, and then you'll be good. And then this part right here, you have to get into here like so. Now you want to check it, pull your lever, and make sure that it feels good. Okay, you have all your bolts torqued to 12 Newton meters. Then make sure you put oil back into the bike. I would suggest that you drain the oil before you even start this process, just because you want fresh oil on the fresh clutch plates, and you're going to be soaking the clutch plates and friction discs inside the fresh oil anyway, so you might as well change the oil at this point. And that's it. So just make sure you pull your clutch lever in and make sure that it feels good. It shouldn't be really binding up or anything like that. It should feel relatively easy to the pull. For this part right down here, if your clutch cable isn't really shot, it should be right around in the middle of the threads when these two nuts are right there. And this thing, when it catches, like I said, the arrow should be like right around the point, and this should only go out. If you're looking straight at this thing, this lever, when the clutch is just standing as it is, it should be out just a little bit past it, and then it will catch right there when the two dots line up. Last but not least, when the bike is straight up and down, use a stand or have someone hold it straight, is that the oil is between those two marks right here and here. So if you have it right in the middle, then you're good to go. So when you first start the bike up after you put a new oil filter on and you're doing your oil change, it's going to suck. You want it up here and it's going to go down. Let the bike run for a couple minutes, shut it off, let it sit for like an hour or something, half hour, whatever it may be. Then after that, make sure the bike is straight up and down. If it's on stands, that'll make it perfect. Or you could just have someone hold the bike straight up and down for you. And you want to make sure that the oil level is between this mark and this mark. So we are right on the dot and you're good to go.